Alrighty, g'day guys, welcome to some unit testing on Legion TD 3.44J, the newest version. Here we've got Militia. So what we're going to do, burn through the first few levels, show you how to play it with a 3-0 start, so the risky way but I think the correct way. Well, we've got one Giant Hammer bloke right here, two Peasants, 200 value. Let's see how we do against the Warriors. Alrighty, here we see them. Two of the bastards moving in. As you can see, the AoE on the hammer is doing a pretty good job. One thing I would like to point out, sometimes you get stunned as hell on like the whole fucking wave and it feels terrible, but this is, I would say, what you will generally see. So it's a pretty good result. For level 2, we add one Militia, then we can add one more Peasant as well. Goes for a total of 310 value, which is obviously 3-0able. So I got a Ferb coming in on 2. Let's get it. All we get here is one more Militia in front. Militia one-shots level 2 through Ferb. And obviously you've got Hammer Bro here doing his AoE damage off on the side at the moment. See, it looks like fucking thinks he's a war chief, this bloke. Anyway, no, he's pretty good. If he smacks this Ferb here, we'll be mid. Most of the time this lake's just the Ferb from my testing, so pretty happy. Kill. So what we're going to do for this level, so we're going to get one more Militia, okay, then we're going to get Cloth Armor on the hammer, right, and I'll explain that in a second. So what the Cloth Armor does, gives it 200 HP, 20% attack speed, changes the armor type to light armor, okay, which is exactly what we want on level 3 against the full normal damage. So you may actually have enough gold, and you will have enough gold to afford chainmail or something like that, but I tried that a lot of times and this just worked. It's just too much better on level 3, pardon. If there's no send on 3, or there's a send on 2 and you're confident for whatever reason there's no send on 3 coming, then that'd be the way. But I'm going to show you how to deal with all the early sends from 1 to 3. I'm going to be honest, it's pretty fucking lucky. Most of the time you'll leak just the Blood Orc, but you'll generally only leak that. But pretty nice overall, for sure. Alrighty, what we're going to do here, so we're going to grab Chainmail on this dude. So we need that basically, otherwise we just leak level 4. It is the cost of doing business with this light armor, but it's just required on level 3. Again, if you're expecting a send. So obviously you could play 2-0 start and you wouldn't need to faff around with the light armor. You could just go one hammer and no armor and an extra Militia instead. And that's obviously nicer for level 4 here. You get to hold with less value, but then you're 2-0 with a unit that's really like doesn't offer all that much, so it's not optimal. Not optimal for sure. So I get a little bit unlucky here. What we're going to do is we're going to run that back, if it wants to listen to me. I think I might have stuffed up, yeah. I hate when it does this, hang on. Yeah, you can see it. It has its fun. Alright. Level 4. Okay, so from my testing, pretty much never leaked 4. It was really only like once before this, so I think it's pretty consistent. that it'll hold. And you've got to remember, in debug, this is 0 ping, so the creeps will actually move a little bit more efficiently than you'll see in online games. Realistically, does it always matter? Nah, it's always going to be a little bit of RNG. But that's, you know, that's okay. But most of the time, it really looks something like this. I think that leak is very, very rare. I've probably played this level damn near 100 times, and I've, well, probably about 50 times, being completely realistic, and I think I've leaked it about twice, so I'm going to say that's good enough. Anyway, level 5, we grab one more militia, one more chainmail, 640 value. Let's get going. Not testing versus sends on 4 and 5, just FYI, because with this setup you will rip to a 4 send and you will rip to a 5 send. You can overbuild 4 with militia and actually be quite successful, particularly with the 2-0 start. You're not going to have a good time on level 5. That's just how it is against Descend with this unit. I think with whatever setup, it's always going to be relatively weak on 5, which is okay. You know, it's not the end of the world to have a unit that's weak on 5. So as you can see, we are able to hold. Not the most impressive hold in the world, but really it's good enough. And for level 6, this same setup will hold. It's actually much more consistent than level 5. Level 5 is probably about a 15% of the time it leaks. 15%. Yeah, I think that's fair. Just thinking back on how many times I played it, what my feeling was. Occasionally you'll leak level 5, never ever leak level 6. 6 is just very, very happy for this unit. When you've got a one dude with a hammer. It's worth saying if you're expecting a 6 send, if you don't push on 5 and just grab like 3 more hammers, then you'll annihilate a send. Like, it's actually very dirty. Might show you that right now actually, just out of interest's sake. So let's say they didn't send on 5, and you're sure there's a send 6. You've got 180 gold to play with, or you got 200 gold to play with. So what you do is you go triple hammer. Right, you'll have this easy. But remember, this is only 820. Right, it's certainly low push, but it's not unattainable value or anything like that. This is just 4 hammer militia, and you just figured I'd show you the 6 send just out of interest's sake. As you can see, it's a pretty good time. This is a big send as well. 3 auras and a wyvern. Anyways, so what we're going to do, we're going to sell these because they're not part of the normal build. Going to get that going. So what did we have? We had these 2 on chainmail. So this is your 640 setup. We're going to skip level 7 because it's not relevant for this build. You're expected to leak there. So from my testing, you need approximately 1000 value of militia. So what we're going to do is go axe, 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 and we're going to go from there. So the problem with militia on level 8 is without a weapon upgrade, it has a terrible fucking increment. It's actually a 4-shot. These axes are actually a 3-shot. So if you watch how much health they leave them on, about 13 health. Watch this creep. Yeah, 9 health. It's really, really terrible, this increment. It makes the life of a militia very, very hard on level 8. Which is a bit of a shame because it's a level where you'd like it to be good, being normal attack, medium armor. But it just can't get away with less than 1k value. And as you can see with the terrible damage focus here, we're actually going to end up leaking. Not an unacceptably big leak by any means. As you can see, if this dude wasn't lazy and shared the aggro, we would hold. So what we might just do is, one thing that I think is slightly more optimal in fairness is axe on the wall. And then militia with just an axe, no chain here. I think that's slightly better actually. So we're going to just run back that level 8. So what we've got is chain and axe, chain and axe, chain and axe, axe, and then hammer and cloth. 1k value on the nose. Yeah, it looks a lot better with the axe on the wall for sure. Even though the focus was unlucky with one guy moving forward earlier, I think this is going to be far more consistent. The focus looking like this, I feel like I could get rid of this guy entirely. Might try that actually, why not? But I'm pretty sure, well, yeah, I'm pretty sure this is just what you need. About 1k. It's worth saying if you have a captain or something to knock this increment down to a 2-hit, then it's a good feeling for sure. So anyway, that is pretty much my way of playing militia. So I think it's correct unless you have a very good role with this unit, where you want to play safer. So if you have something like Warlock, Tree of Time, Dark Priest in your role, then play your 2-0 safe militia start by all means. Then I think it's reasonable. But if you haven't got a good role, get that 3-0 start in, get the push going, open up the options for your team. Because being 3-0 for 3 levels instead of 2-0 for 2 levels, it's a very, very big deal. Okay, it's extremely good if you can make it work. And this was the way I found that will most consistently make it work against Sens 1, 2, and 3. Okay. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed. I did actually invest a kind of ridiculous amount of time into this, so I hope you at least enjoy it, find it helpful. And yeah, let me know what you think if you'd like to see any more of this for some of the other changed units. Personally, I felt militia was the most interesting. Last thing I would like to add, you can play a giant hammer militia holder. That is possible. So I guess I will, now I've opened that can of worms, I guess we're going to have to do it. So I realised I did my whole outro, but then I was like, well, guess I can just do this. So 1020 value. What we're going to do is just grab, oh, why not? Plate armor on the front, dude. Chain. Chain. So 1190 value. Blood Orc for permit command.wyvern. Blood Orc for permit command.wyvern. Just going to wait for those cooldowns, because we need 4 of each send to make the fair send work. So I believe this is 940 send each. So we're just going to see how it goes with the 1200 value. I think this is more or less the correct way to do it. Maybe not the heavy armor. Haven't tried that personally, but you know, we'll see. But yeah, if you want to overbuild, it's hammers, not spears. Spears at the moment seem very, very weak. I think overall plate armor is also terrible if you're trying to YOLO this unit. As you can see, hammer overbuild, it's not too bad. It's 1190 value holding a 900 send. That's really not bad at all, so you know, it's worth thinking about. I think it's not correct because this is now full dead value. But in some games it might be the way to play it. Anyway, and you know, it's just important. I think it's nice to show you guys that if you overbuild a bit so that you don't die, you don't leak on 5 with the setup, then you have an option to freehold 7, and maybe in some games that'll be correct. So don't underestimate this thing as an overbuild, even though I think it's not particularly strong and not worthwhile doing most games. Okay, on to the actual outro. So cheers very much for watching, guys. If you'd like to see more of these, potentially Phoenix, Dragon Aspect, units like that, then let me know. I don't mind doing it. It's nice for me as well, because I got to figure out what I think the correct way to play this unit is, right? And it just so happens that I suppose I'm nice enough to share it with a lot of yous. Anyway, cheers for watching, appreciate it, and I'll catch yous in the next one.